Good morning. My name is Kirsten Sokol. My pronouns are she and her, and I am a member of the Worship Associates as well as a member of the Unitarian Universalist Area Church at First Parish in Sherburne. Let us start by waving to the camera to greet those who are joining us online. Prayer cards and candles are on the table to my left, your right. Please sign up for bells, flowers, chalice lighting, when and where. Welcome to all newcomers. We'd love to stay in touch. Blue connection cards can go in the offering basket, and if some people could wave those around, that would be lovely. Thank you. Children and babies are welcome. The noises they make are signs of life, family. The family corner in the back, nursery care is also available, and there are no faith formation classes today. Children will stay in the sanctuary with us. The Good as New shop has asked me to remind you that next Sunday, the 7th of December, after church will be open until 3 o'clock. Spread the word, bring your family and friends. And today there will be a coffee hour downstairs in Unity Hall. Please join us for refreshment and conversation. Welcome to this loving community. You're welcome here no matter who you are, no matter where you are from. You're welcome here to join us as we proclaim worth in our spiritual journeys. You're welcome to join us in community as we learn, live, and love together. All are welcome here as we worship that which gives each of us meaning and value. No matter what you call this place, this hour, or this gathering of people, we worship as one body. May we find peace in our presence here together. Welcome. Right now, we will have our Sunday Spotlight. Every week, we have this Sunday Spotlight, which highlights one of our shared values. And this week's Sunday Spotlight is on the value of equity, which is we declare that every person is inherently worthy and has the right to flourish with dignity, love, and compassion. And our focus this week will be on World AIDS Day, which is tomorrow, December 1st. And what we can do, that one thing each week, is to wear our red ribbons, which is the international solidarity symbol for those affected by the disease. And now is our custom. Please turn to your neighbor for a greeting. Just a reminder to ask for consent before giving hugs and handshakes. Thank you.
Good morning. My name is Tim Roper, and my pronouns are he and him, and I am a member here at the Unitarian Universalist Area Church at First Parish in Sherburne. And I'm very grateful to be here to lead the service today. I invite you now to join me in these responsive opening words by Deborah Burrell. To make music is to worship. Music connects us with the silver-throated finches and the trumpeting humpback whales. Music connects us with the murmuring tree and the leaves strumming wind. Music restores the voices and sounds of composers long gone and cultures far away. Music can lift our spirits or stir our fire within us. Music can acknowledge our sorrow and soothe our pain. When we blend our voices to share a song, we open our hearts and bare our souls to connect with all that is holy. And now, please rise in body or spirit to sing our opening hymn, How Could Anyone?, which is number 1053 in the blue hymnal.
We now welcome Emma Whittam to light the chalice. And as we light our chalice, should wait. You gotta push it up. There we go. And now, as we light our chalice, let us say together our affirmation. Both are expressions of life and faith here in this congregation. Love is the spirit of this church, and service its law. This is our great covenant, to dwell together in peace, to seek truth in love, and to help one another. Today is the first Sunday of the season of Advent. In the Christian tradition, Advent is the time of preparation for the arrival of Jesus into the world, and it is a time to reflect on what it means to be waiting. From its most ancient origins, Advent has been a time of expectation and preparation. As Unitarian Universalists, during Advent, we ask, what are we waiting for and preparing for in our own lives and in the life of the world? We'll light candles each of the 4 Sundays for the season of Advent for peace, hope, joy, and love. The first Sunday, we light a candle for peace. Now the doxology, I think. The doxology. Please be seated.
And this is the time when we draw nearer to our center, to ourselves. Whether you are here in the sanctuary or at home, I invite you to place your feet flat on the ground, take a few grounding breaths, and give yourself to these moments of prayer, silence, and stillness. And we will now have the prayer hymn, Spirit of Life, which is number 123 in the gray hymnal. Many of us carry with us today prayers for loved ones, the world we share, and prayers of joy and thanksgiving. We share the following prayers for loved ones. From Gail O'Brien, for Jordan, who relentlessly strives for health and wishes for him and all of us in this season of love. And for Alan Cantor, who says, for my nephew Eric and family whose wife passed suddenly last week. That's sad. And so we light a card for our loved ones, a candle, rather. And we lift up those prayers that we carry for the larger world. And I don't have any cards for that, but I will send out our prayers for the tragedy in Hong Kong and all the lives that were lost in a terrible fire there. So for all these, we light a candle. And we also lift up prayers of gratitude and thanksgiving, and also no cards for that, but I invite you all to maybe just speak out loud something that you're grateful to, or say it to yourself. And for all of these, we light a candle. Here in this space, we are gathered, called by our sense of urgency or duty, or the longing for community, called to be together on this day. Here in this space, we are gathered, called to hold ourselves accountable to our values, to remind ourselves of those hopes and dreams and possibilities for which sometimes, in the rough and tumble world, it can be hard to hold on to. Here in this space, we are called to weave the web of human community. May we pause, and in our silence, may we lift up at least one blessing, one joy, no matter how small, that has touched our lives this week. May our shared silence be a blessing on our hearts on this community, and may this blessing extend outward to grace the wider world. We'll have a few moments of silence.
Our reading today is from Why Music by social activist, composer, and award-winning producer Frank Fitzpatrick. Although I was raised Irish Catholic, much of my deeper understanding of spirituality comes from studying more ancient teachings of the Vedas and my yoga practice. That said, the most consistent and dependable way I've found to connect to my inner voice, lift my spirits, and bring myself back into balance has been music. Music has turned the most mundane and the most challenging moments of my life into deeply resonating human and often indescribably divine experiences. People often ask me what kind of music is more spiritual. Is it Vedic mantras, Gregorian chants, devotional bhajans, the great symphonies of Beethoven, traditional gospel hymns, indigenous drums, or even rock and roll? I usually respond by saying any music that helps us connect to our essence, to our inner and divine nature, is spiritual. For a teenager living in Detroit, or a mother living in a smaller village in the Andes, the sound of that path is likely to look, or should I say, sound, quite different. As fellow producer Karsh Kale once said, for someone, the sound of the bansuri is the sound of Krishna, while for somebody else, the sound of sub-bass frequencies is a connection to spirituality. The spiritual nature of music cannot be defined by religion, culture, or genre. Music precedes and transcends all of these frameworks. To even compare music and spirituality as if they were independent concepts feels a little odd to me. Music is, at its essence, the sound of spirit. When created from the heart and with truth and pure intention, music is a spiritual expression of the most universal nature and the highest order. Music is one of our most powerful gateways to connect to our spiritual nature, our divine source, the unseen, as well as to the universe around us and those other divine beings that inhabit it with us. I know of no other medium that can transport us as immediately and on all levels of our existence beyond the limits of our intellect and physical body to a higher, often blissful, and inexplicable state. Music has the unique ability to transform us as independently of our thinking mind to a place uninhabited by the judgments, doubts, and fears that too often dictate the narration of our thoughts and self-limiting beliefs. Just as music has helped rescue me from some of the lowest points of my life, it has been the blissful soundtrack for many of my most loving memories and the rhythm that continues to propel me forward. For me, spirituality and music will never be separated. The more music continues to awaken my higher aspirations and light the path of my inner journey, the higher I am inspired to reach, and the deeper I long to delve into those realms of the magical unknown that awaits me. If words are the limited language of my mind, music is the limitless calling of my soul.
Every week, we collect an offering and we give it all away to support an organization that lives out our values of love, service, justice, and peace. We're able to give 100% of our offering thanks to your pledges to our church, which keep us going. This week, we're collecting an offering for Hungry for Music, an organization that is putting quality musical instruments into the hands of children who demonstrate a desire to learn music, as well as teachers who have students willing to learn. In 31 years, Hungry for Music has delivered more than 27,000 instruments to children in all 50 states and 40 different countries. You can make an offering by scanning the QR code on the screen or in your pews, or by giving cash or check as the baskets come around. Thank you for your generosity.
Thank you, Kathleen. Good morning, everyone. It's an honor to be here leading this service this morning. Those of you who know me will be aware that the subject today is near and dear to my heart. As a music teacher and performer, music holds a central place in my life. But of course, music is not the sole province of professional musicians and has been a part of all human experience throughout history. What is it about music that is so moving? Why are so many of us drawn to music in the face of so many diverse experiences in our lives? We listen to music when we are happy and celebrating, when we are peaceful and contemplative, or fired up and motivated. We also seek out music when we are feeling sad and lonely, when we are frustrated and angry, or lost and grieving. Music can bring a smile to your face or tears to your eyes. It can slow your pulse, or it can cause your heart to pound in your chest. And perhaps most powerful of all, music has the ability to connect us to the divine in a way that nothing else can. As the poet Khalil Gibran said, music is the language of the spirit. It opens the secret of life, bringing peace, abolishing strife. Today I want to share some music with you, music that I find puts me in touch with the divine and spiritual part of my being. And I love the reading that Kristen gave earlier, and it just really struck me today that he said he can't separate music and spirituality. All music, if it moves you in any way, is spiritual, and I think that's really powerful, and I do believe that. By its very nature, this exercise is subjective, somewhat arbitrary, and given the brief time we have, far from comprehensive. I have narrowed the field to music that moves me personally, and while I've included some diversity of musical styles, there is much that I have left out. I have made an attempt, I've given this service in the past, and I've made an attempt today to include more women composers, more composers of color, and again, this is a completely, it's a list that is not complete. Completely incomplete, I'll say. So there was a long and rich tradition of religious texts being set to music. I do have an example of that. And I could have spent the entire service on the multitude of wonderful hymns written over the centuries. However, rather than lyrics, I want to focus on the music itself and its power to transport us to the spiritual realm. No words can convey this as well as the music, so let's get started. I hope you can relax, breathe deeply, and enjoy. And hopefully my technology will work today. I'm going to start off with a piece called The Feeling Begins by Peter Gabriel. And this music is from Gabriel's soundtrack to Martin Scorsese's film, The Last Temptation of Christ. Gabriel spoke of wanting to create music that could have been made 2,000 years ago or today, both ancient and contemporary. Working with musicians from the Middle East, playing indigenous instruments, I think he succeeded in that. We will only be hearing excerpts today, so I apologize at the outset that some of these pieces will be cut short. But if you're interested, I can certainly share a list of what I'm playing today for your own listening later. So here we go with The Feeling Begins. The next piece is Spiritus Sanctus Vificans, a chant written over 900 years ago by Hildegard von Bingen, a Benedictine abbess in Germany in the 12th century. The title translates to Life-Giving Holy Spirit. And I find this music to be very spiritual and very spiritually moving and almost otherworldly. And Hildegard von Bingen has some of the most music that has survived from the Middle Ages by almost any composer, and a very rare thing when that field has been dominated by male composers throughout history. So Here we go. Excuse me. The next piece is by Beethoven, and there is plenty of music that Beethoven wrote that could have made this list today. But I think one of the most gorgeous passages that he wrote is the Allegretto from his Seventh Symphony. And the interweaving of the instrumental themes here is truly glorious. Fanny Mendelssohn was a German composer and pianist of the early Romantic period. She was also the older sister of Felix Mendelssohn, whose music many of you undoubtedly know. But Fanny, again, was probably as a result of the male-dominated culture at that time, which has been throughout history largely. She wrote over 450 compositions, which were mostly unpublished during her lifetime. But I think if you get a chance to delve into her repertoire, it's beautiful music that she wrote. Here's an excerpt from her string quartet in E-flat major, which I find playful and full of life and just really a lot of fun. Growing up, I was not a big fan of opera. Something about the voices just kind of rubbed me the wrong way. But fortunately, I've overcome that, and I've now come to appreciate how powerful the medium can be. And one of my favorite examples is the flower duet from the opera Lakme by Leo Delibes. And by the way, that was Catherine Jenkins and Kiri Takanawa singing and just knocking it out of the park. Beautiful piece. So some might have chosen Beethoven's Ninth Symphony for this list. However, my favorite Ninth Symphony is by Antonin Dvorak. It's often called the New World Symphony, and because the Czech composer wrote it after an extended stay in America in the late 19th century. Let's hear the beautiful Largo from Dvorak's Ninth Symphony. Russian composer Nikolai Rimsky-Korsakov wrote Scheherazade based on the collection of Middle Eastern folk tales titled 1001 Nights. The interplay between the harp and the violin in this opening passage is just heavenly. This is also one of my father's favorite pieces, and I'm hoping he gets to watch this, so this goes out to you, Dad. That one's worth listening to the whole thing, and we just don't have time for it. Scott Joplin, known as the King of Ragtime, was also an incredibly talented composer of many styles. He wrote 2 operas and a whole bunch of other music that I'm sure he would have had a very different career had he not been black. But he was so powerful as a composer. Much of his music still survives today. And I first heard this piece, Solace, in the movie The Sting many years ago, and have loved it ever since. Here is Solace from Scott Joplin. In 1959, Miles Davis released Kind of Blue, a landmark album in jazz history. Listen to Bill Evans' rich, atmospheric piano and Miles Davis' hauntingly beautiful, muted trumpet solo in the song Blue and Green. They are clearly transcending the earthly realm. Another one that's hard to stop, but I do want to. I want to see if I can not quite pull a Nathan and get us out of here on time. So we'll see. I may already be pushing that. Angelique Kidjo is a Grammy-winning singer-songwriter from Benin in West Africa. The title of this song, Agolo, refers to the metaphysical significance of the cycle of life and death, with life being a gift that must be cherished and lived wisely. And I think she is cherishing life with this piece of music, without a doubt. Sheila Chandra is an English singer-songwriter of Indian descent who found spiritual connection through musical exploration and the concept of spiritual ancestors. This piece, Speaking in Tongues, uses a style of South Indian vocal percussion. I first heard it many years ago and was stunned by the power of her voice. And again, that's a wonderful artist to explore, Sheila Chandra. Native American flutist Mary Youngblood carries on the rich musical tradition of her heritage. The spiritual nature of this music is clear from the first note of this piece, comma, I. Thank you for taking this journey with me today. Working on this, I gave up trying to cover all the different styles of spiritual music in existence, but in reality, I think any music can qualify, since in my opinion, the spiritual nature of music is in the ear of the beholder. I hope you heard something that moved you today, and if not, I urge you to seek out the music that transforms your heart. We all need it. I have one more piece to leave you with. Please enjoy the lush, achingly beautiful Adagio for Strings by Samuel Barber. And now, please rise in body or spirit to sing our closing hymn, What a Wonderful World. The words are included in the order of service, and I believe on the screen as well. And just to add a little fun, I'll play it on the ukulele here. I see trees of green, red roses too. I see them bloom for me and for you. And I think to myself, what a wonderful world. I see skies of blue and clouds of white, bright blessed days and dark sacred nights, and I think to myself, what a wonderful world. The colors of the rainbow, so pretty in the sky, are also on the faces of people passing by. I see friends shaking hands, saying, how do you do? They're only saying, I love you. I hear babies I think to myself, what a wonderful world.
Thank you, Tim, for that wonderful smorgasbord of music this morning. Ooh. Can we stand for our call to ministry? We go forth to the world in peace, to act with works of love, to affirm each person's dignity, and to cherish the living earth.
As we listen to the blessing of music, may we know this ending as more than a time of goodbye. May the warmth of this community and the memory of our chalice flame sustain our hearts and encourage our minds as we engage the blessings of life's challenges and joys. Go in peace, go in joy, go in love.